Imagine walking through a quiet forest just before sunrise. The air is still, and the world seems suspended between night and day. You come across a river, its surface reflecting the faint light of the early morning, and for a moment, it feels like time itself has paused. You hear a soft voice behind you, a presence you didn't notice at first, but it's familiar, steady, unhurried. They don't speak immediately, they simply stand there, letting you be, letting you feel, letting you notice the ripples on the water before noticing each other. That moment is simple, almost ordinary, yet it is profound. In the ordinary, in the quiet presence of someone who sees you, not just the smile you show the world, not just the accomplishments or the carefully chosen words, but the hesitations, the unspoken fears, the shadows you hide even from yourself, there is recognition. There is love that doesn't demand, doesn't flaunt, doesn't rush. It waits patiently, steadfastly, for the real you to emerge. This is the kind of love that asks nothing from you except your presence. It does not vanish when storms come. It does not crumble under the weight of doubt. It encourages growth quietly, nurtures your journey without judgment, and remains when everything else in life feels uncertain. It is in the small gestures, the unspoken understanding, the quiet courage to stay that love like this reveals its depth, and often we are tempted to walk away, to choose the easier path, the one that promises comfort without vulnerability. But sometimes, the person standing beside you, quietly seeing you, patiently waiting for your whole self to be known, they are the rare kind of love that transforms your life, that mirrors your soul, that allows you to be fully human and fully accepted. It is in that presence, that unwavering recognition, that the greatest lesson of love exists. The courage to see and be seen, and the wisdom to stay when every part of you fears leaving. When we talk about love, the world often presents it as something dazzling, immediate, and effortless. We are shown images of passion, excitement, and constant thrill. But true love, the kind that resonates with the soul, is rarely about the surface. It is deeper than attraction or fleeting desire. It is something that roots itself quietly, patiently, and profoundly within our lives. It is not a matter of appearances or temporary feelings, but a recognition of another person's essence. True love begins with perception, not merely what the eyes can see, but what the heart and mind can perceive. It is the ability to see beyond the curated persona that someone presents to the world. Most people carry masks, consciously or unconsciously, shaped by fear, past pain, or societal expectations. The person who truly loves does not mistake these masks for the whole being. They look deeper, past the facade, and connect with the raw, unfiltered reality of the person in front of them. This kind of depth requires patience. It is easy to be captivated by charm, beauty, or charisma, but these are fleeting. They do not withstand the tests of time, struggle, or change. Real love is drawn not to perfection, but to authenticity. It notices the quiet courage in moments of vulnerability, the consistency of small actions, and the honesty that exists beneath the layers of fear or doubt. In this way, depth over surface means choosing to understand someone's inner world rather than merely admiring what is visible. When someone loves deeply, they recognize complexity. Every person carries contradictions, moments of strength and fragility, kindness and impatience, hope and despair. Surface-level attraction cannot hold space for these contradictions, but a love grounded in depth does. It sees that these elements are not flaws to be fixed or ignored, but essential parts of a living, breathing human being. It is a recognition that a person's shadows are as significant as their light, that their struggles are as real as their joys, and that embracing all of this is an act of profound respect and care. This depth also nurtures empathy. When someone truly loves you, They do not simply respond to your moods or your achievements. They attune themselves to your inner life. They notice your silences, your hesitations, and your unspoken fears. They listen not just to the words you say, but to the emotions and truths that lie beneath them. This is why such love feels stabilizing and safe. It is a quiet force, a presence that does not demand or manipulate, but simply bears witness to the totality of who you are. Carl Jung often spoke about the journey of individuation, the process of becoming fully oneself. In love, this depth allows both people to witness and support each other in this journey. It is not about control or possession, but about recognition. The person who loves deeply sees your journey, not as a challenge to their desires, but as an essential unfolding of your soul. They understand that to truly love is to allow space for growth, for mistakes, for learning, and for becoming more fully human. It is also worth noting that depth over surface transforms how we perceive intimacy. Intimacy is often mistaken for physical closeness or shared routines, but the kind of intimacy that emerges from depth is far more profound. It is emotional, spiritual, and psychological. It is the feeling of being seen for who you are without masks or pretense. It is knowing that someone values your essence even when everything else fades or shifts. It is rare, and because of this rarity, it is easily overlooked. Choosing depth over surface is not always easy. It requires courage and awareness. It means resisting the urge to judge by appearances or immediate satisfaction. It demands patience, attentiveness, and the willingness to look beneath the obvious. It asks us to honor complexity over simplicity, authenticity over charm, and substance over spectacle. It is a commitment to seeing someone fully, even when it is uncomfortable or challenging, and in doing so, it opens the door to love that is enduring, meaningful, and transformative. In essence, love rooted in depth is not temporary or shallow. It persists because it is nourished by understanding, empathy, and genuine connection. It is a recognition that every human being has layers that are not immediately visible, and that the courage to explore and accept these layers is the foundation of lasting, profound love. This kind of love does not fade with time. It evolves, strengthens, and becomes a mirror through which both people can see the truest reflections of themselves. When we think about love, it is often portrayed as admiration for someone's best qualities, the smile, the laugh, the charm, or the accomplishments. While these things are beautiful, they are only fragments of a person. True love, the kind that touches the soul, goes far beyond surface admiration. It is the recognition of the whole self, the awareness that every individual carries both light and shadow, joy and sorrow, courage and fear. To love fully is to see all of these layers without judgment. Most people show only the parts of themselves they believe are lovable or acceptable. Society teaches us to conceal what is weak, shameful, or uncertain. Yet, beneath the mask, every human harbors fears, insecurities, regrets, and contradictions. The person who truly loves you does not shy away from these aspects. They are willing to encounter your shadows and not retreat. They understand that the shadows are not something to erase, but to acknowledge, because they are an inseparable part of who you are. This recognition of the whole self requires presence and attentiveness. It is more than noticing when someone smiles or succeeds. It is noticing when they hesitate, when they shrink from the world, when they carry invisible burdens. It is the quiet understanding that their moments of anger, sadness, or fear do not make them unworthy of love. On the contrary, these moments reveal their humanity, and someone who loves deeply sees beauty even in these vulnerable states. In practical terms, this kind of love does not demand perfection. It does not try to mold or correct. It does not focus solely on strengths while ignoring weaknesses. Instead, it embraces complexity. When someone truly loves in this way, they accept contradictions. They know that you can be strong and fragile, confident and uncertain, kind yet stubborn. They accept all these facets as essential to the whole person they care about. This acceptance is what builds trust and safety, because the other person knows they can exist authentically without fear of rejection. Carl Jung emphasized the importance of embracing the shadow, the parts of ourselves that we might fear or reject. In love, this principle is essential. Someone who loves you fully will not only notice your shadows, they will honor them. They will understand that your fears, insecurities, and past wounds are not liabilities but aspects of your unique life story. They hold space for your pain, for your mistakes, and for your growth. In their eyes, these do not diminish your value. They enhance the richness of your being. This recognition of the whole self also transforms the way intimacy works. It is not just about shared moments or physical closeness. It is a psychological and emotional connection that arises when someone truly knows you, the depths, the contradictions, the unspoken layers, and still chooses to be present. It is the feeling that you do not have to hide any part of yourself because someone sees you fully and responds with understanding rather than judgment. This is a love that nurtures the soul. Moreover, love that sees the whole self encourages authenticity. When someone recognizes your entirety, you feel safe to explore your true self. You do not need to perform, impress, or conceal. There is space for growth, for mistakes, for vulnerability. The love itself becomes a mirror, reflecting not an idealized version, but your real, evolving self. It is in this reflection that transformation can happen, as you learn that you are fully accepted even when imperfect, and that your journey matters to someone else in a profound way. Recognizing the whole self also deepens connection. Love that only sees surface traits is fragile, dependent on conditions or circumstances. But love that sees the entirety of a person, strengths and flaws, light and shadow, is enduring. It creates resilience in the relationship because it is grounded not in what is convenient or ideal, but in the reality of human existence. It allows both individuals to face life's challenges together, without illusions, knowing that each is valued for all that they are. This form of love requires patience and courage. To truly see another person in their entirety is not always easy. It involves facing uncomfortable truths, witnessing pain, and embracing contradictions. But it is precisely in this commitment that love becomes transformative. It goes beyond fleeting attraction or infatuation and enters the realm of a profound, soul-level connection. Ultimately, to be loved for your whole self is to be honored as a complete human being. It is to be recognized not only for what you present to the world, but for the entirety of your inner life. It is a love that is accepting, compassionate, and steady. It is rare, but when it exists, it has the power to heal, to grow, and to inspire both individuals to become more fully themselves while remaining deeply connected to one another. Love, in its truest form, is not a fleeting emotion. It is not defined by excitement that comes and goes or by moments of passion that ignite and fade. True love is revealed through consistency. It is shown not in grand gestures alone, but in the quiet, persistent presence of someone who remains, even when the world grows difficult or the heart feels uncertain. This consistency becomes a measure of authenticity because actions sustained over time speak more truthfully than words spoken in a moment of intensity. Many people are drawn to what feels immediate and thrilling. The spark of attraction or the allure of novelty can seem overwhelming, making it tempting to mistake intensity for depth. Yet real love is steady. It does not retreat when circumstances change, when challenges arise, or when emotions fluctuate. It persists quietly, without demand or fanfare. This consistency demonstrates a commitment that is rooted not in convenience or circumstance, but in the deeper recognition of the person as a whole. Consistent love is attentive. It notices the small things that others might overlook, the way you hesitate before speaking, the subtle shifts in your mood, the tiny victories and silent struggles that fill your life. It remembers, even in moments of chaos, what matters to you. It shows up not only when it is easy or convenient, but also when it is challenging. There is a reliability here that cultivates safety, because you begin to understand that this presence is not conditional. It is not a gift given only when life is perfect. It is a steady companion through all of life's seasons. Carl Jung often spoke of life as a journey of individuation, a process of becoming whole and true to oneself. Love that is consistent through time honors this journey. It is patient with growth, understanding that transformation cannot be rushed. It does not impose timelines or expectations. Instead, it supports, encourages, and waits. In doing so, it allows the person loved to flourish authentically, knowing that the connection is not fragile or temporary, but resilient and enduring. Consistency is also revealed through empathy. It is easy to be loving when everything is smooth and joyful, but the true test comes during trials, disagreements, or moments of distance. Someone who loves you consistently demonstrates compassion even when emotions are raw, mistakes are made, or misunderstandings arise. They remain engaged rather than withdrawing, seeking understanding rather than judgment. This unwavering attention builds trust because it shows that the love offered is not reactive or conditional. It is deliberate, chosen, and reliable. Another dimension of consistent love is patience. Life is rarely straightforward. Challenges appear unexpectedly, and people evolve over time. A person who loves deeply will not abandon the relationship when difficulties arise. They understand that both individuals are human, prone to mistakes, uncertainty, and imperfection. They accept this reality and continue to act with care, kindness, and attention. In this way, consistency is inseparable from maturity. It reflects a love that is conscious and intentional rather than impulsive or self-serving. Consistency also nurtures intimacy on a profound level. When someone is present through the highs and lows, when they do not vanish in times of discomfort, a bond forms that cannot be fabricated. This bond allows vulnerability to thrive because the person loved knows that they can be authentic without fear of rejection. They understand that love is not a performance to earn, but a relationship to inhabit fully. The reliability of another's care becomes a foundation on which trust, emotional safety, and true connection grow. Even small gestures repeated over time accumulate meaning. A word of encouragement, a listening ear, a supportive presence. These actions, when consistent, reveal far more than grand declarations ever could. They communicate dedication, reliability, and depth. They show that love is not only about feeling or desire, but about sustained attention and intentional effort. The constancy of these actions is what distinguishes fleeting affection from enduring devotion. Consistent love also teaches resilience. It demonstrates that relationships are not fragile, but can endure through change, uncertainty, and the passage of time. It encourages both people to remain present, even when life is complicated or challenging. This endurance reinforces the idea that love is not an abstract feeling, but a lived experience, shaped by choices, actions, and ongoing commitment. Ultimately, love that is consistent through time is a mirror of trust and authenticity. It is a steady force, revealing the depth of someone's commitment and the value they place on the relationship. It creates a sense of security, allowing the person loved to explore, grow and be fully human without fear that love will vanish in a moment of difficulty or uncertainty. It is in this quiet, enduring presence that the truest form of connection exists, a love that does not rely on appearances, excitement, or circumstance, but persists because it is rooted in understanding, respect, and a genuine recognition of another person's worth. There is a kind of love that does not always announce itself with words. It is subtle, almost imperceptible to the casual observer, yet profoundly felt by those involved. This love communicates in silence, through gestures, attention, and the nuances of presence. It is not the kind that demands constant affirmation or loud declarations. Instead, it is woven into the quiet spaces, the moments in between, and the seemingly ordinary interactions that reveal the depth of feeling without ever having to be spoken aloud. Unspoken connection begins with attentiveness. To notice someone deeply is an act of love in itself. It is to observe the small details, the way their posture changes when they are anxious, the way their eyes light up at a memory, the subtle tension in their voice when something worries them. Someone who loves you truly is attuned to these signals, responding not out of obligation, but out of an intuitive understanding of your inner life. This attentiveness communicates care in a way words often cannot. Silence itself becomes meaningful in this kind of love. There is comfort in simply being together without the need to fill every moment with conversation. Sitting side by side, sharing a space or exchanging a glance can carry more weight than 1,000 spoken phrases. In these moments, the unspoken connection allows both individuals to feel understood and accepted without explanation. It is a form of intimacy that goes beyond verbal communication and touches the very essence of human presence. Carl Jung believed that the human soul is complex, full of hidden layers and depths that are not easily expressed. In love, this translates to the recognition that not all emotions, thoughts, or experiences can be articulated. Someone who loves you deeply understands this, and their connection is not dependent solely on conversation or confession. They perceive the unspoken cues, the subtle rhythms of your life, and respond with empathy and care. Their love is patient and quiet, allowing for understanding even in the absence of words. The unspoken connection also relies on trust. It requires faith in the other person's presence and intentions, even when they are not overtly demonstrated. Knowing that someone is attentive, loyal, and emotionally present without needing constant affirmation fosters a sense of security that is rare and precious. It allows each individual to be themselves without pretense or performance, knowing that the bond exists beyond what is seen or said. This form of connection often manifests in small, consistent gestures. A hand on the shoulder, a comforting glance, the act of noticing without commenting, or offering help before being asked. These acts speak louder than any words. They signal recognition, empathy, and care, showing that love is active, intentional, and sensitive to the other's needs. Over time, these gestures accumulate, creating a deep sense of trust and emotional intimacy that words alone could never achieve. Unspoken connection also thrives in moments of shared understanding. There are times when a look, a nod, or a shared silence can communicate more than any conversation. Someone who loves you truly recognizes these moments and values them. They understand that love is not only about being heard, but about being seen and felt on a level that transcends language. This is why certain relationships feel effortless. The connection is intuitive and natural, rooted in mutual awareness rather than constant dialogue. Another aspect of unspoken connection is patience. It allows space for processing, reflection, and emotional growth. Someone who loves you in this way does not demand immediate responses or explanations. They understand that emotions and thoughts are complex, and that sometimes the most meaningful form of support is simply being present. This patience reinforces the depth of love because it respects the individual's inner life, rather than trying to control or rush it. Unspoken connection also fosters empathy. By paying attention to the subtleties of your behavior, emotions, and moods, someone who loves you deeply can respond in ways that are supportive and meaningful without needing explicit instructions. This attunement creates a profound sense of understanding, where you feel seen and acknowledged at a level that transcends surface interactions. It is an intimate dance of perception, care, and responsiveness that strengthens the emotional bond between two people. Over time, unspoken connection becomes the foundation of enduring love. It is quiet, patient, and perceptive. It teaches that true intimacy is not always verbal, and that love can exist and flourish in the spaces between words, in the subtleties of presence, and in the attentiveness to another person's soul. It is rare, yet when experienced, it creates a sense of belonging and emotional security that words alone cannot provide. Love, in its truest form, is not possessive. It does not seek to contain or limit another person. It does not measure devotion by compliance or conformity. Real love recognizes that each individual is on a journey, a process of becoming, and it encourages growth rather than demanding stasis. When someone truly loves you, they celebrate your potential, your dreams, and your evolution, even if it means change that might feel unfamiliar or challenging. Growth requires courage, both from the one who loves and the one being loved. It means stepping into the unknown, confronting fears, and embracing transformation. Someone who loves you deeply does not resist this process. They provide support and space, allowing you to explore your passions, confront your shadows, and discover your authentic self. They understand that love is not a cage, but a garden in which you are encouraged to bloom. Carl Jung often spoke of individuation, the process by which a person becomes fully themselves. Love that encourages growth aligns with this idea. It does not attempt to shape you into a reflection of another's expectations. Instead, it respects your individuality, offering guidance and support while leaving space for your self-discovery. This kind of love is empowering. It acknowledges your autonomy and sees your potential without judgment or restriction. Encouragement for growth also manifests in subtle, consistent ways. It can be as simple as listening when you share your dreams, asking thoughtful questions about your goals, or gently challenging limiting beliefs you may hold about yourself. It is present in the quiet confidence someone shows in your abilities, even when you doubt them. This form of support is not overbearing or controlling. It is a steady, compassionate presence that reassures you that your path is respected and valued. True love sees mistakes and failures not as threats, but as essential parts of learning and transformation. Someone who encourages growth does not chastise you for errors or setbacks. Instead, they offer understanding and guidance, helping you reflect, adapt, and continue moving forward. They recognize that growth is rarely linear, that the path is filled with challenges, and that their role is not to smooth the road but to walk alongside you, providing encouragement and faith in your ability to navigate it. This encouragement nurtures confidence. When someone genuinely supports your growth, you begin to trust your own decisions and instincts. You feel seen and validated, not for perfection, but for your effort, resilience, and willingness to evolve. This love teaches that your value is not fixed by current circumstances or abilities, but is inherent in your capacity to grow and transform. It is a love that sees the unfolding of your life as something to be honored, not controlled. Encouraging growth also means embracing change within the relationship itself. As each person evolves, the dynamic between them naturally shifts. Someone who truly loves you does not fear this change. They understand that growth requires adaptation, flexibility, and openness. They remain committed, not to a static version of you, but to the living, evolving person you are becoming. In this way, love becomes a journey shared, rather than a fixed destination. In the end, love that is true is more than words, more than fleeting emotions, and more than what is visible on the surface. It is a quiet, steadfast presence that sees the whole person, embraces their light and shadow, and remains through time, growth, and challenge. It communicates not only in words, but in the unspoken gestures of care, the patience to support, and the courage to stay when everything feels uncertain. This love is rare because it asks for depth, awareness, and commitment. It asks us to recognize another human being fully, to honor their journey, and to meet them not with judgment, but with understanding and empathy. It asks for courage, the courage to be vulnerable, to witness complexity, and to remain present even when life tests us. If you are fortunate enough to experience this kind of love, do not walk away. Notice it, honor it, and allow it to touch the deepest parts of who you are. For in this love lies not just connection, but a mirror to your own soul, a reflection of what it means to be truly seen, truly valued, and truly human. When we recognize, nurture, and respond to love like this, we allow it to transform us, to help us grow, and to reveal the profound beauty of being known and accepted in our entirety. That is the gift, and that is the power of someone who truly loves you.